The market was loud, full of shouting voices and clinking metal. Alien traders barked out prices, waving their hands as they showed off the girls in cages. Each cage held a different girl, different skin, different eyes, different fears. Some looked older, some younger. Some stared at the ground. Others cried quietly. But one cage stood at the far end, apart from the others. It wasn't even fully locked. Inside it, barely covered with a dirty cloth, was a thin alien girl with dull purple skin and large golden eyes. Her bones showed under her skin. Her arms were full of bruises. Her hair was messy, tangled like a nest. Her body curled into itself, like she wanted to disappear. "No one's gonna buy that one trader laughed. "She's too small, too broken, no use for work or pleasure." The auctioneer didn't even bother reading her name. "Skip the last cage," he said. "She's worthless. Throw her out back with the trash." The girl didn't react. She had heard it all before. She had already accepted that no one wanted her. She had stopped speaking 3 days ago. One of the guards grabbed the cage door. "Come on, you're done here," he growled. She closed her eyes. Maybe they would beat her, maybe worse. It didn't matter anymore. But then, someone spoke. A calm voice, a different voice, a human voice. "I'll take her." The guard turned. "What?" "I said I'll take the last one, the girl." The crowd laughed. "That one? She can't even stand. She's no good." But the human didn't move. His eyes were serious. "She comes with me." The auctioneer stepped forward. "She wasn't even listed. She's not worth a credit." "Then it's a gift," the man said. "Or a favor. Either way, I'm taking her." The girl opened one eye. She saw boots, then legs, then the face of a man who didn't look angry, didn't look greedy. He crouched down outside the cage. "Do you want to come with me?" he asked. She didn't speak, couldn't. Her lips were cracked, her throat dry. He pulled off his coat and gently placed it over her. "You don't have to say anything. Just nod." Slowly, almost painfully, her head moved, a small nod, almost nothing, but enough. The human stood. "Let's go." The guard laughed. "She can't walk." "She doesn't have to." The man stepped into the cage, picked her up in his arms. She was lighter than he expected, like a child, and walked through the crowd. People stared. Some whispered. Others pointed and made rude jokes, but no one stopped him. The girl felt warmth for the first time in weeks. His coat was soft. His chest was firm, and she could hear his heartbeat. Steady. Calm. She wanted to cry, but her body was too weak for tears. He carried her to his small ship at the edge of the port. The door opened with a hiss. The air inside smelled clean, not like blood or metal. He laid her on a soft seat, brought water, and held it to her lips. "Just a sip," he said gently. "You'll get more soon." She drank slowly, then coughed. But it was okay. He didn't yell. He just waited. He brought her food, not much, just a soft piece of bread. She stared at it for a long time before taking a bite. He didn't ask her questions, didn't touch her again, just sat across the room, watching her without pressure. "My name's Adam," he said finally. "You don't have to tell me yours yet, or ever. But you're safe here, I promise." She didn't answer, but her fingers clutched the coat tightly. She didn't let go. That night, Adam made a bed for her in the spare room. He didn't close the door. He left a soft light on. And when she woke up in the dark, shaking from a nightmare, she saw him sitting outside the room, reading a book, just waiting. She didn't understand it, didn't trust it, but for the first time in her life, she didn't feel completely alone, not anymore. She didn't know how to sleep in a soft bed. The blanket was warm, the lights were gentle, but she lay stiff, staring at the ceiling of the small ship room. Every time a sound came, a soft beep, a door hiss, her body tensed. She was waiting for someone to enter, waiting for pain, waiting for the real price of being taken in. But no one came. The human, Adam, had said nothing strange. He had offered food, water, rest. Then he quietly sat outside the door, reading something on a screen, not looking at her. He had even said, You can close the door if you want, or leave it open. Whatever makes you feel safe. She had left it halfway open, not because she trusted him, but because she wanted to see him if he moved. Hours passed. He didn't move. Sometime in the middle of the night, she sat up. Her stomach hurt from hunger, but the fear was louder. She stepped out of the room, holding the coat tightly around herself. Her bare feet were cold against the ship floor. Adam looked up. "Everything okay?" She didn't answer. She just looked around. No chains, no other girls, no weapons, just quiet. "Do you want water?" he asked. She nodded slowly. He stood, walked calmly to the small dispenser, filled a cup, and handed it to her. No sudden movements, no grabbing. She took it, drank. "You can sit if you want," he said, pointing to a chair. She sat, but on the floor. It felt more normal to her. He didn't say anything for a long time, just let her be. Finally, she whispered, "Why?" He looked over. "Why what? Why did you take me?" He set the screen down. "Because no one else did." She didn't understand. "But you didn't even look at me like the others did. You didn't want anything." He smiled softly. "You looked like someone who needed help. That's enough." Her hands shook. She pulled the coat tighter. "I can work," she said quickly. "I can clean your ship. Fix things, whatever you want. I'll earn food." Adam leaned forward a little. "You don't have to earn anything. I'm not keeping score." She frowned. "But that's not how it works." "It is here." Silence. "You can sleep in the bed," he added. "You can stay in that room. Or anywhere you feel safe. I'm not locking you in. And I'll never touch you unless you ask me to. Ever." She didn't believe him. Not yet. But her heart didn't race as much anymore. That night she lay back in the bed, still awake, but less afraid. The stars moved slowly outside the ship window. She had never seen them like this. Calm, beautiful, distant. In her old life, stars meant nothing. Cages had no windows. She was just another object on display. Now, here there were no bars. Just a quiet room. And a human who hadn't asked her to smile or dance or obey. She pulled the blanket up to her chin. And for the first time in her life, she thought, maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and still be alive. 3 days passed. The girl didn't speak again, not a word. She woke early, folded the blanket neatly, and sat on the floor beside the engine room. She didn't ask what she was allowed to do. She just cleaned the floor with her hands. Adam didn't stop her. He didn't force her either. He gave her meals, always small so her body could adjust. He let her eat in silence. He talked sometimes. Soft stories about planets he'd visited, ships he'd repaired, creatures he'd seen. He never asked questions about her past. She listened, always watching him with quiet eyes, never too direct, like a scared animal learning not to run. Then, one morning, something changed. Adam was under the control panel fixing a faulty power relay. Wires sparked. He cursed softly, pulling back and shaking his hand. The girl was watching from the corner. Without thinking, she stood, walked over, and knelt beside him. "You grounded it wrong," she whispered. Adam blinked. It was the first time she had spoken since that night. "You know tech?" She looked down. "I helped fix slave collars and ship cages. I remember the circuits." He nodded slowly. "You want to help with this?" She hesitated, then knelt closer. "The green wire goes last, or it overloads." He handed her the tool. "Show me." She did. Her hands trembled, but she didn't stop. In 3 minutes, the panel hummed back to life. Adam smiled. "That's impressive." She didn't smile back, but her eyes flicked toward him. Later, over lunch, he sat across from her and said, "What's your name?" She looked down again. "I don't know. They took it. They called me Unit 43. Do you want a name?" She paused. "I don't deserve one. Everyone does." She didn't reply. But that night, before sleeping, she whispered, "Call me whatever you want." He thought for a moment, then said, "How about Leary?" She repeated it softly. "Leary." It was a small sound, But something inside her moved, something warm, something she didn't recognize at first. The next day, she sat at the table to eat, not the floor. She watched Adam as he worked, asked small questions. What's that tool? Why does the ship make that sound? He answered every question with patience. Later, as they shared dried fruit, she said, I thought you would hurt me. Everyone did. I know, he said gently, but I won't. Leary looked down at her hands. I don't know what to do now. You don't have to do anything. Just be here. Heal. But I'm broken. No, you're not. You're surviving. She looked at him, really looked, for the first time. His face wasn't like other traders. His eyes were kind, but tired. He had scars on his hands. His smile was quiet, never fake. For the first time, she asked something without fear. Why are you alone? Adam leaned back. That's a story for another day. She nodded. Okay. As he turned off the lights, Leary whispered, Thank you for not treating me like a thing. He didn't say anything, just gave her a gentle nod and walked away, leaving the door open like always. And that night, Leary whispered her new name again under her breath. Not because she needed to, because she liked how it sounded. Leary didn't flinch when she woke up anymore. The blanket still felt too soft, the room still too quiet, but her body didn't shake like it used to. Her eyes didn't dart around the room searching for danger. Adam gave her space, but he also gave her purpose. She started learning. Each day he would hand her small tools and ask for help with ship repairs. Not hard tasks, just safe ones. Leary remembered how to fix broken locks and shock collars. Now, she used that knowledge to repair lights and panels. Never thought you'd be an engineer, huh? Adam joked one morning. Leary looked confused. Engineer? He nodded. Someone smart who fixes things. She blinked, then softly smiled, just a little. She still didn't laugh, but she smiled more often now. One afternoon, she tried to make food. She had seen Adam do it. She remembered the steps, but something went wrong. The smell turned bitter. Smoke filled the room. She panicked, dropped the spoon, covered her head with her arms. I'm sorry, please don't hit me. Adam ran in and froze. He didn't yell, he didn't get angry. He gently turned off the heat, opened the vent, and sat on the floor beside her. Leary, it's okay. No one's going to hurt you. She was shaking. Her fingers clenched the coat she still wore like armor. I ruined it, she whispered. It was just food. Food burns. She looked at him. You're not mad? No. She began to cry. Quiet tears. She tried to stop them, but Adam placed a soft hand on her shoulder. You're safe, even if you mess up. That night, she sat beside him and asked, Was I born to be used? Adam looked into her golden eyes. No one is born to be used. But they said I was made for it. That's what I'm good for. You're good at fixing things. You're kind. You're strong. And you're learning fast. That's who you are. She stared at him for a long time. You read. They believe that? I do. The next morning she made breakfast again. This time it didn't burn. She placed the plate in front of him, holding her breath. Adam took a bite, chewed. This is perfect. Her whole face lit up. It was the first time she looked proud. Later, while fixing a panel, she asked, Do humans always treat others like this? Not all. Some are cruel, some are kind, just like any species. She tilted her head. I think you're rare. He laughed softly. Maybe. Or maybe you've just met the wrong ones until now. She nodded slowly. Maybe. That night, before sleeping, she whispered to herself, I made food. I fixed the lights. I made him smile. They were small things, but to her, they meant everything. Because for the first time, she wasn't just surviving. She was living. The ship docked at a floating trade station orbiting a blue-green planet, alive with color and noise. It was the annual Interworld Festival, a place where traders, farmers, artists, and wanderers from dozens of species gathered for food, music, and lights. Adam looked over at Leary as they landed. "You don't have to come out," he said gently, "but I think you'd like it. No cages, no guards, just lights and food and smiles." Leary hesitated. Her fingers played with the hem of the old coat she still wore. She hadn't left the ship since he rescued her. She looked down. "Will people stare?" "Probably," Adam said honestly, "but only because you're beautiful." Her eyes widened. "I'm not." "You are," he said softly. "But more importantly, you're free, and no one here owns you." She bit her lip, then nodded. Adam opened a small drawer and pulled out something wrapped in soft cloth. "Here," he said. "Found it on a peaceful planet weeks ago. Thought it might fit you." Inside was a simple dress. Light blue, soft fabric, gentle on the skin. Not flashy, but clean. Respectful. Leary changed in the back room. When she stepped out, Adam stared for a moment too long. "What?" she asked, covering herself. "Nothing," he said, smiling. "You just look like someone who deserves to be seen." The walk through the festival was hard. People did stare. Some whispered. A few aliens nudged each other. But Adam stayed close, never letting her fall behind. His presence was solid, calm, safe. Leary's steps were unsure at first, but the air smelled sweet. Roasted fruit, cooked meat, spices she'd never known. A child from another species ran past her and bumped her leg. Leary froze, expecting blame, a slap, or worse. But the child just giggled and kept running. Adam leaned down. "No one's angry, you're not in trouble." She nodded, slowly. At a small vendor stall, a short alien woman handed Adam 2 sugar sticks. "For you and your girl," she said cheerfully. Adam opened his mouth to correct her, but Leary spoke first. "Thank you." They walked and ate. The sugar melted on her tongue. Her eyes sparkled like the lights above. Then they passed a mirror. Leary paused and stared. For the first time in her life, she saw someone who didn't look like a slave. She looked alive. Later, at a dance circle in the square, music played. Creatures spun and moved with laughter. Leary stood on the edge, quiet. Adam watched her. "You want to try?" She looked horrified. "I don't know how." "That's the best way to dance," he chuckled. "No rules." She shook her head, but her eyes followed the rhythm. Her toes tapped, her fingers moved. Adam didn't push, but he offered his hand. She didn't take it, not yet. But she smiled, just once, a real smile. And in that moment, with lights in her eyes and freedom on her face, she wasn't a broken girl from a cage. She was someone beginning again. The festival glow still lingered in Leary's heart. For the first time, she had walked among people without fear, tasted sweetness, smiled in public. Back on the ship, she hummed a soft tune under her breath as she sorted tools in the engine room. Adam watched from the doorway, arms crossed, quietly amazed. This girl, no, this young woman, had come so far. But peace never lasts forever. It happened the next day. They landed on a small trading moon to restock fuel. Adam stepped into a local supply shop, leaving Leary near the ship with a warm drink in hand. She leaned against the hull, enjoying the quiet, the sky, until she heard the voice. Well, well, look who survived. Her hand dropped the cup. She knew that voice. Turning slowly, she saw him. The trader who once dragged her by the neck, spat on her, called her property. His eyes scanned her dress, her face, her clean skin. "You've been cleaned up," he sneered. "Human must like broken toys." Leary's chest tightened. Her feet wanted to run, but her legs didn't move. "You belong with us," he said, stepping closer. "You think one coat and soft words make you free?" She backed up. "Stay away." "Oh, now you speak," he chuckled darkly. "Maybe you've learned to be useful after all. I'll make the human an offer, double whatever he paid." "I wasn't bought," she snapped. Her voice shook, but she stood her ground. "He saved me." The man's eyes narrowed. "He owns you. Doesn't matter what pretty words he used." "He doesn't own me," she yelled. Adam's voice boomed from behind. "Step away from her." The trader turned. Adam stood tall, eyes sharp, calm but deadly. She's with me, he said firmly. I remember you, the traitor spat. You picked up that trash no one wanted. Adam stepped between them. She's not trash, she's not for sale, and she's not going anywhere with you. She's damaged goods, human. You really think she's something special? Adam's jaw clenched. I don't think, I know. The traitor laughed, mocking. Enjoy her while she obeys. They always turn. Before Adam could reply, Leary stepped forward. Her hands trembled, but her voice was clear. I'm not yours. I never was, and I never will be again. The traitor gave her one last cold look, then walked away, muttering something vile. Leary's knees buckled. Adam caught her before she fell. He held her, not tight, but steady. I'm here, he whispered. He's gone. She buried her face in his chest, breathing fast. I thought I was okay, but hearing him, it pulled me back. That's how trauma works, Adam said softly. But you faced him. You didn't run. I wanted to, but you didn't. She looked up at him, eyes wet. Do you still want me here, after that? He wiped a tear from her cheek. Leary, I want you here because you choose to be here, not because I do. She stared at him for a long moment, then whispered, Then I'm staying. And this time, it wasn't because she had nowhere else to go. It was because she finally believed. She belonged. Leary woke to the smell of something sweet and warm. She stepped out of her room, still wearing the soft blue dress, and found Adam in the tiny kitchen corner of the ship. He had flour on his cheek, his sleeves rolled up, and a smile he hadn't worn in days. You're making cake? She asked, surprised. He grinned. I thought you deserved a reason to celebrate. She tilted her head. Celebrate what? Adam turned toward her. You, your strength, your voice, your first step away from fear. Leary lowered her eyes, a little shy, a little unsure. I still get scared. We all do, he said. But now, you walk anyway. She smiled softly. That day, they shared the simple cake, sitting on the floor like old friends. There were no cages, no titles, no owners, just two people, and silence that didn't hurt. Later, as the stars blinked outside the window, Adam brought out something else, a small metal tag. This was meant for your room door, he said, but I figured you should see it first. She took it. The name etched on it made her breath catch. Leary, all in capital letters, clear, permanent. I've never had anything with my name on it, she whispered. Adam shrugged playfully. Now you do. Leary stared at the tag for a long moment. Then she walked to her room, gently screwed it into the door, and stepped back. Her space, her name, her home. That night, she asked quietly, Can I ask you something strange? Adam looked up. Anything. What were you before all this? He smiled faintly. A repairman, a loner, a man who didn't know he needed someone. And now? He paused. Now. I think I found what I didn't know I was missing. Leary sat beside him, close, closer than ever. Their arms touched. I thought I was broken forever, she said, but you kept showing me I wasn't. You fixed yourself, he said gently. I just gave you space to heal. She leaned, her head on his shoulder. Then I want to stay. Not because I'm afraid, but because this ship feels like home. Adam looked down at her. Then it is. For a long time, they said nothing. The stars moved slowly outside. Then Leary spoke again. Do you think someone like me could ever be loved? Adam turned to her, eyes soft. You already are. She looked up at him. He wasn't smiling now. He wasn't joking. And for the first time, she didn't feel small. She didn't feel dirty. She didn't feel like something unwanted. She felt seen. She reached for his hand. He didn't pull away. They sat there, fingers laced, the silence now warm. And in that stillness, without anyone watching, without a crowd to judge her worth, Leary finally believed. She wasn't the last cage. She wasn't a mistake. She wasn't a slave. She was free. She was wanted. She was home. The weeks turned into quiet, beautiful days. Leary no longer hid when someone knocked on the ship. She no longer froze when lights flickered or when strange voices echoed across the landing bay. She had grown stronger, not just in body, but in spirit. She now laughed. She now planned meals. She even designed a small repair station inside the ship, labeled Leary's work desk. In bright paint she had mixed herself. Adam didn't stop her. He just watched her grow like a seed that had finally been given water and sun. One afternoon they arrived at a calm planet known for its peaceful lakes and glowing skies. Adam had some parts to trade. Leary walked beside him, no longer hiding behind coats or walls. The market here was different. No cages, no buyers, no slaves, just life. As they walked, an alien girl waved to Leary. "Is that your human?" she asked, curious. Leary blushed but smiled. "Yes, he's mine, and I'm his." The girl laughed. "You're lucky." Leary paused. "I'm more than lucky," she said softly. "I'm alive." That evening on a quiet hill under a glowing sky, Leary turned to Adam. "I want to choose a last name." He looked at her, surprised. "A last name?" She nodded. "Not a number, not a label. Something that's me." Adam smiled. "Any ideas?" She thought for a moment. "Hope," she said. "Leary Hope." Adam repeated it slowly. "Leary Hope." "It's what you gave me," she said. "A name I can carry, even if I'm alone someday, even if you're gone." Adam gently placed a hand over hers. "You'll never be alone again, Leary Hope." Her heart beat faster, but not from fear, from warmth, from something deeper. That night, she added the name to her doorplate. Leary Hope, bold, bright, hers. They sat together on the ship ramp, watching the stars. The wind was soft, the world was quiet. Leary leaned on his shoulder. "Do you think the stars remember us?" Adam chuckled. Maybe, or maybe we remember them." She smiled. "Then let's keep flying. Let's leave pieces of me in every sky." He nodded. "Deal." She closed her eyes. "You saved me once, Adam, but now I want to save others. Maybe there's another girl in a cage, someone like me. Maybe she's waiting." Adam looked at her with pride. "Then we'll find her, together." Leary opened her eyes, golden and glowing under the moonlight. "Let's build a life that makes the stars jealous." And with that, their ship rose quietly into the sky, not with fear, not with escape, but with purpose. From a girl no one would buy, to a woman the universe would never forget. Her name was Leary Hope, and she was finally free. The galaxy was wide, but Leary's heart had become even wider. She stood near the pilot seat, eyes scanning the stars. Her name, Leary Hope, was now known on 3 trade stations, not as a product, not as a slave, but as a traveler, a fixer, a survivor. Adam sat beside her, sipping his tea. "You've been quiet today," he said. "I've been thinking," Leary replied, "about the girls still left behind, about cages still full." Adam nodded slowly. "You want to go back, don't you?" She turned to him, eyes steady. "Not back to suffer, back to save someone. Just one. That's all it takes to begin." He smiled. "Then plot the course, Captain Hope." She beamed at the nickname and tapped the console. They returned to the station where it all began. The market looked smaller now, less frightening. Or maybe she had grown. Leary wore a clean utility suit. Her tool belt rested on her hip. Her hair was tied up, her eyes clear. She walked ahead of Adam this time, past the cages, past the sneering traders. And then she saw her, A tiny alien girl, no older than 10, thin, wrapped in a dirty cloth, curled up exactly as Leary once had. Her skin was pale green, her eyes half shut. She was shaking. Leary knelt in front of the cage. "Hi," she said gently. "What's your name?" The girl didn't answer. Leary took off her coat, the same coat Adam once gave her. She slid it through the bars. "You're cold, wear this." The girl stared at it, then reached out, slowly, carefully. A traitor laughed behind them. "That one? Worthless, sickly, barely speaks. You want her?" Leary stood. "No," she said. "I'm taking her." "No credits, no deal." Adam stepped beside her. "How much?" The traitor waved his hand. Just one credit. Get her off my hands." Leary reached into her bag. She placed a single credit down, one she had earned fixing a transport panel last week. She turned back to the girl. "You don't know me," she said softly. "But I was once you, and someone gave me a chance. Now I'm giving it to you." The cage opened with a click. The girl looked up, eyes wide. "Why?" she whispered. Leary knelt again. "Because someone did the same for me, and because you deserve better." The girl reached out, holding Leary's hand tightly. Adam watched silently, a proud smile on his face. Back on the ship, Leary made warm soup. The girl barely ate at first, but with each spoonful her hands shook less. That night, Leary tucked her into the spare room, the same room she had once claimed as her own. The little girl whispered before closing her eyes. "Are you my mother now?" Leary paused, then leaned down, kissed her forehead gently and said, "I can be, if you want me to be." The girl nodded. "Then I want that." Adam leaned in the doorway, watching the scene quietly. Later, as the ship floated gently among the stars, Leary sat beside Adam, both of them silent. "She has no name," Leary said, "not one she remembers." "Then give her one," Adam replied. Leary looked out at the stars. "Nova," she whispered, "because even the smallest star deserves to shine." And in that moment, Leary's mission became clear. She wasn't just a survivor anymore. She was a rescuer, a protector, a flame that would spread hope, one broken soul at a time. Days passed. Nova was still silent most of the time. She slept curled in a ball, woke up gasping from nightmares, and refused to eat unless Leary sat beside her. Leary understood. She never asked questions, never forced words. She just stayed close. She knew healing couldn't be rushed. It had to be invited. One morning, Leary brought Nova a small round crystal, blue and clear. It glowed faintly in the light. Nova stared at it with big eyes. "What is it?" she asked softly. Leary smiled. "It's called a stargum. Found it on a cold moon. I kept it all this time, waiting for the right moment to give it away." Nova touched it gently. "It's warm." "Because it remembers light," Leary said. "Just like you will." Nova didn't speak again, but that night, she held the gem in her small fist while she slept. 2 weeks later, they landed on a peaceful green planet with wild fields and gentle rains. Adam needed to trade ship parts, and Leary thought it would be good for Nova to breathe fresh air. At first, the little girl refused to step out. She clung to Leary's leg at the ramp. "I'll stay with you," Leary promised. "We'll go slow." Hand in hand, they walked through a flower field. The wind brushed Nova's short hair. A tiny bug with wings landed on her finger. She gasped, not in fear, but in surprise. "It likes me," she whispered. Leary knelt beside her. "Of course it does." Nova turned toward her. "Do I still belong to someone?" Leary held her gently. "No, you belong to yourself. But if you want, you can choose to stay with me." Nova looked down. "Can I call you Mama?" Leary's breath caught. Her heart beat fast. "Yes," she whispered. "If that's what you want, then yes." Nova nodded. "I want that." Then slowly, for the first time since she stepped on the ship, Nova smiled. It was small, quiet, but real. Leary's eyes filled with tears. She pulled Nova into a hug. "You're safe, and you're loved. Always." Back on the ship that night, Adam found Leary looking at the stars, Nova sleeping peacefully against her side. "She smiled today," Leary said softly. "It was like watching the sun rise." Adam sat beside her. "You gave her what you didn't have." Leary shook her head. "No, you gave me that chance. I'm just passing it forward." He looked at her, strong, calm, radiant like the stars above. "You're not the girl in the cage anymore," he said. "I never was," she replied. "I just needed someone to remind me." Weeks turned into months. The ship got a new name, the Hope Fire, painted by Leary and Nova with bright colors and tiny stars. They began traveling to forgotten stations, broken markets, abandoned worlds. Not to escape, but to save. Leary became a whisper among the stars, the girl who had once been thrown away, now saving those others forgot. She was no longer a slave, no longer a tool, no longer alone. She was Leary Hope, and her family was growing,